What's going on, my loves? Knowledge Butterfly here, sending you peace, love, blessings, and abundance. Um, Today, I want to, touch on the subject of why the melanated humans on this planet can't seem to go forward, have been stuck in the same cycle for hundreds of years. And yeah, just really, my perspective on why we are where we are, why we haven't grown any. So, I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna give different reasons, and the first reason I'm actually gonna start with is the names. What do we call ourselves? Do we call ourselves? Do some of us call ourselves African American, the ones that live in North America? Some of us call ourselves Black. Some of us call ourselves Jamaican, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Latino. Yeah, just to name a few. Yeah, so we'll start there. So what's in a name? What is in a name? So what I've noticed with the melanated humans on this planet, on this in this manifestation or physical realm, is whatever name that we're given. Because all the names that I called out were not names that we called ourselves. They were never a name that we came up with to describe our people. However, we're the ones that keep saying it and perpetuating it. So what's in a name? A name is everything. Whatever a people call themselves is vibrational. It is a frequency that you're putting out. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I do talk a lot about energy, because everything is energy. We are energy. What the sounds that come out of our mouth, so the language we speak is energy. The songs that we sing are energy. The names that we have carry energy with them. They carry a frequency. So when they are said out loud, when we say those names, even when we think those names, we're literally putting those vibrations out into the ether. And so in return, we are getting back the vibrations, because the law of attraction, we're getting back the vibrations that align with that frequency of that name, of that word. So I'm gonna talk about that. So Black. We already know that our skin color is nowhere near the color black. If you compare and you put your skin next to something that's black, it is not the same. It is not the same at all. The skin is more, if you look at a crayon box, going to be in the browns family, in the different shades of brown. So why are we called black? We are called black because that is something that Europeans termed us, and in North America. In Europe and parts of Africa, they called them they called them black as well, but they called them the term that meant black in that country for that language. So like in France, I think it's Noir, Noir. And, Española, Negro. So, still you're being turned black, but it's in that language. Just think about that. All over the world, people that look like me and you were termed to be black in whatever that language is, for a reason. If you have looked at any of I think his name is Dane Calloway, any of his videos, he talks about black codes. And black codes are it's a law that they're able to utilize against people that look like us in order to physically harm us, to just kill melanated people on sight, to degrade melanated people and treat them as if we are not human. It's a reason why they use that. Like I said, it's a vibration. It brings about a result that we don't want. Same thing with, and then also when you talk about African American, Jamaican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, or calling yourself Hispanic or Latino, that is another way to fuck you up in the mind, so you separate yourself from anybody who has melanated skin. So you don't see so you don't see the similarities. You only focus on what you think is different. And the things that are different are things that have to do with location and language. Language is something that was forced upon the melanated indigenous people. It's not something that we actually chose. The reason why I speak the way I speak is not because this was a language that my indigenous ancestors were born with. This is a language that was given to us when our people were raped and murdered, when the genocide, which is still occurring now, when the genocide began on our people. So when we're saying all these names, we are perpetuating this genocide. We're keeping this shit going and going and going. We're literally feeding into the persecution and genocide of other melanated beings. So what's in a name? Everything is in a name. I was doing some research online a couple of days ago and came about the fact that the indigenous people in what they call the southeastern part of the United States, which I say they call the southeastern part of the United States. I'll get into that later about the directions and how I feel the directions are a lie. Where basically the placement of where north and south is a lie. Based upon the magnetic poles, the way that the Earth's magnetic poles pull, the magnetism. But the southeastern indigenous people, a lot of them were called maroons. And the reason why I found this so interesting is because the melanated people in Asia, in the Caribbean islands, I knew of Jamaica because I stayed there and I knew that they had Maroon Town. Dominica and St. Vincent, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Central American countries like Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, and in North America also, which includes Mexico, includes Nova Scotia, includes the states of Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Mississippi. In South America, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guiana. I think it's pronounced Suriname. All these places, they had indigenous melanated people that they call maroons. So you have to see the connection. And actually, maroon is dark brown reddish color people. Dark brown reddish color people. Okay? So they're using the same terms in all these different places around the world for people that look like me. People that look like you. You know what I'm saying? And in Jamaica, I know for sure, they celebrate the word maroon because they talk about Nanny. Nanny was one of the maroons. The maroons were not only called maroons because we know the color maroon is red, which they calls us red Indians at a point as well. Won't get all into that. However, they called us that as well. But people celebrate Nanny and the Maroons in Maroon Town because they fought against the colonizers. The same thing here in America. The people that were called Maroons were the ones who were fighting against them. It was actually a derogative term, just like all the other terms that we call ourselves. Black, a derogative term. Negro, a derogative term. Colored, a derogative term. African American actually is a derogative term because it is to miseducate us as to who we truly are in being indigenous. So maroon is one of them. Creole. the way that Creole is being utilized now to talk about the people of New Orleans, like the Bayou, or people who are mixed of the indigenous people who they call black with people of French ancestry and stuff like that. Creole actually was a term that was used in Haiti, and that was used all over America, the southeastern part of America, to describe melanated indigenous people. That was also a derogatory term because it actually meant somebody who was like a servant. I might still have it up. Let me slide it over because I do have my computer over in front of me. But I don't really want to spend too much time on the words, because either way, we shouldn't be utilizing these words, because these words were not created. We weren't called these words for a good reason. These words were not out of love. Were not out of a love frequency. It was actually demoralizing to us. And I think Creole had to do with breeding. Yeah. It had to do with a slave being homeborn. Them breeding us being a breeder, to rear up and bring us up, to make and to produce. So when somebody calls themselves Creole, you calling yourself a breeder. You're saying your only purpose is for somebody to rear and bring you up, to make you a producer of what they want you to produce. So, and people, and melanated people say that with pride because they think it has to do with the fact that they mix with white, and that's a good thing. And it is not to knock anybody who is, biracial, whatever you want to call the terms now, but it's to let you know that those terms, sweetheart, dear hearts, did not come out of a loving place. They were not created by people who were indigenous. These were derogatory terms, and over the years, we continue to, whatever they call us, we continue to take on it. Just think about America. When you think about the terms that I'm telling you before, the maroons and all that, all those terms came before Negro and colored, came before Black and African American. Maroon and Creole, those came beforehand. And now they've come back into existence as far as Creole. Maroon is not something that we call ourselves in America. However, it's something that's celebrated in other parts of the world where there are melanated people that look just like us, because they think that that's the Maroons, like a Jamaica. It's a huge deal. Like I said, Nanny is on the Jamaican $500 bill. Even shit, the fact they call her Nanny. Nanny wasn't her. I'm pretty sure Nanny was not her name. Nanny is normally the names that they call the melanated women who took care of their children. Come on, y'all. Like, let's just think about these things before we calling ourselves these vibrations, and then we taking on these vibrations, and then when we take them on, we don't like it. Okay, so a name is everything. It's every fucking thing. So we need to do better than that. Even the things that we name our children. My parents named me Tiffany Elisa, and Tiffany actually means manifestation of divinity, or manifestation of God, or oath of God. And Elisa is Hebrew, and I don't have all this up now. However, it also has to do something with, along the same note, about being an oath of God, or satisfaction of God, something like that. I think Elisa is the one that is oath of God, or satisfaction of God, and then Tiffany is the manifestation of divinity, or whatever. So both of those names actually mean something good, or even though I hate the term good, actually means something that is more of a child being named based upon the spirit that they carry, which is how the indigenous named our children. That's how we named our children, based upon whatever spirit that they possessed. We weren't named something derogatory to harm us and to harm our lineage. That's so that the names are one reason why we keep repeating these cycles, because we keep these names that came from colonization. The second thing that is hurting the melanated human people or human beings, is the music we take on. So our music is speaking destruction and damnation unto both the melanated man and woman, and causing and keeping the separation going up. And not only is it saying those negative things, those negative lower I'll say lower vibrations. Let's just say that instead of positive, negative. Not only is it perpetuating negative lower vibrations because it is a lower vibration word, the music is also on a lower vibrational, a vibration that causes disharmony. So if the music is on a 440 hertz, which is disharmony, then what type of result do you think is going to come to the community? But disharmony and dysfunction, separation, degradation, you know? And that is all over the world. I can listen to music from Jamaica, like the reggae music, and the roots reggae, talking about, do you remember the days of slavery, and talking about, you know, all of the bullshit, the lower vibrational shit that was done to our people, and not giving any type of solution, just harboring on the fact that that shit happened or supposedly happened. If we're not getting it, if we're only talking about the problem, the issue that arose, but we're not talking about a solution, then how the hell do you expect for people to come out of that shit? Because we're still literally harboring on the fact that this supposedly happened, or that this did happen to our people. And then we're talking about slavery, when slavery was a story that was given to us by the colonizer. We didn't write them fucking textbooks. Then talking about wanting to go back to Africa. A lot of the roots reggae songs, they talking about Africa and the glory of Ethiopia and stuff. What about the glory of the land that you live on? Because to be honest, that's your indigenous roots. You came from there. You didn't come from Africa. Most people in Jamaica, in the Americas, and in the other, you know, Caribbean islands, the West Indies, your ancestors came from there. So you're disrespecting the ancestors every fucking time you talk about you'd rather be in Africa. And there's nothing wrong with Africa. However, that's not where your ancestors came from. Your ancestors in Jamaica were Arawak. You know what I'm saying? That spoke Taino. That was a language, not a people. That's why in the history books, they confused that shit and they called them Taino. And that was a fucking language. That wasn't a people. You are the Indians. That's why they call it West Indies. You are Indians. They called us American Indians, and then they kept changing the name. And even still, Indian is not what we called ourselves. So again, that's me over there saying a name that it wasn't. But getting back to the music, guys, the music is another thing that's holding us back, because our music is not in a manner to uplift our vibrations. It's to keep us in a lower vibratory state and not be achieving our full potential, because we are children of the spirit. We are children of divinity. We are children of the Most High. So in order to be in line, in order to receive and to manifest the things that we really want and not the opposite, we have to vibrate. We have to align with those vibrations, and that's something I've been talking about. So that's why this video goes along with what I was talking about. I'm speaking from a human experience being in this melanated body, and that's because I'm really over seeing people in the melanated bodysuits not winning and being on the bottom of the fucking pyramid. That's not where we need to be no more. So I'm going to speak on it. Our television shows. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV. However, when I do tune into things, now that I'm more conscious and awoke and aware, and I allow my higher self, because before I watch anything, I ask my higher self to like make the things that are like hidden, make them, you know, visible to me. The reason being is I don't want to be conned into anything. I don't want that to affect my subconscious and put it in a lower vibratory state when it doesn't have to do that. So I always ask my higher self to reveal to me the true meaning behind anything that I'm going to watch. Even when I'm watching it, if I didn't say it at the beginning, I'm like, oh, I want to make sure that I'm seeing this from the truth of it. and not from the surface of what they want me to see. But I don't partake in any reality TV shows like The Real Housewives. I used to watch that shit. I used to watch Love and Hip Hop. I used to watch a lot of that bullshit. I don't watch Scandal no more. I don't watch How to Get Away with Murder anymore. I just cut a lot of that shit out because those television shows are subliminally making us think that we are those types of people, that we are these women who gotta walk around being so superficial, caring about their hair being straight, caring about having their makeup look like a drag queen. And that's no disrespect to the gay community. I'm just being real. The fact that they turned melanated women into drag queens. So you don't think that your eyebrows look nice the way that they are. Now, if you just want to pencil them in and do little stuff, fine. That's make sure just because it's something you want to do, don't do it because that's a persona or an image that you see on TV. So they tell you that's what the perfect melanated woman's supposed to look like. Put on these fake lashes and stuff. All that shit stemmed from men who were dressing up as women for drag shows, dressing in drag. And then now you got women dressing like that and putting on these, putting on the hair, like the wigs and stuff, and just going out overdoing it with makeup and all those things. The men did it because they were trying to look more feminine. So why are you doing it? You already come in the feminine package when you came down into this plane. So why you need to put on a face to be feminine? You already are. Even though we are both. But yeah, why? So the television shows are putting us in lower vibrations because they're making us think that we have to put all the stuff on the outside to become something that we already are. And then it's showing us a one-sided view, which is a lower vibration view of who we supposedly are. All right? Slater, please don't tell me you brought in a chipmunk or something. Don't do this, Slater. That's the cat. This is the noise. He makes this moaning noise whenever he brings in, like, he don't want to explore and he done found a chipmunk, a snake, or a lizard. Then here I have to go. I have to catch the chipmunk, catch the snake or the lizard, and then throw it back out there. Hopefully this one is living. So I'm going to finish up what I was saying. But yeah, so guys, what we're doing is we're perpetuating the cycles and we're keeping the cycle going and we're keeping the things status quo the way they like it because we are so stuck in the lower vibrational frequencies that they've been sending out to us. They've been, our music talks about the struggle, or you got to be selling drugs in the hip hop music. You selling drugs, or or talking about a female, even though a female's body form is beautiful and it's meant to be admired. We didn't have statues and figures made of the woman's anatomy to degrade it, though. We did it as almost as a form of worship. I hate the word worship, but it was out of admiration. It was out of respect. The fact that this is the giver of life, and that also the woman was seen as being so divine. Now we got music that just talks about the degradation of the woman, and if it's not about her body parts, then she's this gold digging bitch, and she's this hoe, and she's all these things. And then we got the women, and I was there shaking our asses and twerking to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it is, like the man is singing you a love song. We just got the game fucking twisted. Then, we got the women talking about the men ain't shit, and, fuck that nigga if he ain't give me this and that or whatever, and my baby daddy this, that, like, all of that low vibration shit, instead of respecting one another and seeing and finding the balance and the beauty in the relationship between a man and a woman, and how that is like and how that's like balance. You know what I'm saying? That's the masculine and the feminine balance. Like, you balancing one another. That's why it's all balanced in our communities. That's why on top of the fact, we don't even want to get into the fact of, you know, the how many melanated men are incarcerated for bullshit, and we're taken away from the homes, how that started off. But now we are voluntarily like putting ourselves in situations and things, and bringing children into this world and not taking care of them, because the music we listen to doesn't support melanated families, the progress of melanated families, and the growth of melanated families. On top of the fact that we keep putting our children in these bullshit education schools, but we keep asking for Europeans to correct their systems and make it better, or let our children in their schools and stuff. Like, how has that worked out for us? It hasn't. It really, really hasn't. You know, so it's so many reasons. The school is, I don't even want to get into that shit. That programming, that European indoctrination. I don't even want to get into that, but just sticking with the vibrations of the, oh shit, he got a chipmunk. Y'all, he got a chipmunk. Slater, show the people your chipmunk. Y'all see that chipmunk he got in his mouth? I'm coming, Slater. So I'm going to have to carry that chipmunk out, guys. I'm going to end the video on this note. The music, our television shows, the names we call ourselves. I'm coming, Slater. The names we call ourselves, all of that is just parts of the reason. I'll continue the series going, but all of that is adding to the low vibration that we our melanated human beings have been dealing with for hundreds of years, and it's perpetuating the cycle of that, guys. So we need to do better, and you know, and also I'm gonna add one other thing before I end this video. And also, like, we get stuck in the past about all these great leaders. Marcus Garvey, yes, Marcus Garvey did some great things. He did. Marcus Garvey was born on August the 17th. He was born on the 8th day, like me. You know what I'm saying? People born on the 8th day were very philosophical. We are natural born leaders. That's why a lot of times they say, you know, we could be like political leaders and things like that, because we make people want to follow us. That's a beautiful thing. However, at the same time, I would ask people in Jamaica, so what are you doing? You talking about Marcus Garvey? When did he transition? When did he transition? So why are we so stuck on what people did in the past? We so focused on the fucking past, y'all. Give big up that person. Ashe, he's an ancestor. Ashe to the ancestors. However, why are we living in it? Why are we stuck in the motherfucking past? No, we need to, what's happening right here and right now? What are we doing right here and right now to uplift the people? What are we doing right now? We get so caught up in old shit. We get so caught up in it that we're not making something for our children today. That is, and that's a whole nother subject. How we don't do the best job of passing down the tools that our children need in order to be successful. The tools for success. But I'm going to end the video on that note so I can go in and get this chipmunk out of here. I heart you guys. If you feel this video and feel my vibrations, go ahead and like it. Hit that like on it. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And check me out on my Instagram, Knowledge Butterfly, and my Facebook, Knowledge Butterfly at Empress Rostar. And go ahead and follow both of those as well. I love you guys. Sending you love out to the ether. Let's make this world a better place, y'all. Peace.